You want to talk about some thugs? Motorcycle gang members sentenced for 2020 shootout in Arvada. I thought we was the only people that shot and had shootouts. And let me tell you, let me give you a hint. This motorcycle gang, it wasn't the Zulus. Just so we're all clear. You know what I'm saying? Court cases recently ended for 9 men involved in a 2020 shootout between rival motorcycle gangs that left 1 dead, 3 shot, and several others physically beaten, including a Good Samaritan who tried to help one of the injured, which is one of the reasons why. You know what they say about good deeds? You know what they say about good deeds? What do they say about good deeds? That Good Samaritan, Ryan McPherson, will live with a traumatic brain injury for the rest of his life. Man, you get so rewarded for doing good, don't you? McPherson was the lead singer for the rock band Nightwolf, which was playing at Jake's Roadhouse, 5980 Lamar Street in Arvada, the night of July 11th, 2020. It was one of the band's first gigs since resuming performances that had been halted due to the C-19 pandemic. The band had played its first set when patrons began to notice a commotion outside. Someone said, "Man, there's something going on," said a witness who was at Jake's that night. It sounded like gunshots, all right? Many of the bar's patrons walked to a side patio. McPherson, however, walked out the front door. Now, let me ask you guys this question. This look like anywhere where you guys would be hanging out at with a band like this playing? Nothing wrong with it if it is. I'm just asking. You know, there's always an outlier in every situation, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. But in most cases, it's probably not. Probably not. You know what I'm saying? So now somebody says, "Help me. Somebody help me. I've been shot," cried a man lying in the street next to a fallen motorcycle, according to the witness. Realizing the intensity of the ongoing rampage, as the witness called it, the bar patrons returned to protection of the building. But McPherson walked into Lamar Street to assist the man in the street. Our singer Ryan went out to have a cigarette. Nightwolf guitarist Jay Halpern told CBS News Colorado. He noticed somebody had been shot and had fallen over his motorcycle, and he went over there to help him. Most bar patrons didn't know McPherson had tried to help the injured man until they saw another man attacking McPherson. The attacker stood over the prone McPherson, repeatedly striking him with a helmet, as described by the witness. Patrons and friends ran out to McPherson. His attacker had already left, so he basically beat this dude down into a brain injury for whatever reason, who knows why, with a helmet. Okay. AV Promotion said, "Why are you in a band sitting down playing a guitar?" Because of that good work ethic. Duh. Because of that good work ethic.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots! Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Oh man, sometimes they try to ice skate uphill. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, "We're trying to take care of Ryan," the witness said, "and we're hearing bikes rolling all through the neighborhood. We thought, okay, this is pretty bizarre." No, you didn't. No, you didn't, because you know exactly what was going on. Listen, those kind of people hang out at the same hangout spots. So this is a story that they're giving to police. Witnesses believe McPherson, a 6'4", weighing 300 pounds and wearing black clothing that night, might have been mistaken by his attacker as a member of a rival gang. Because, yeah, that looks and is the size of most of those bikers. You know what I'm saying? If there's a commotion, You know what I'm saying? Like, let me help people out with some street smarts. You know what I'm saying? Even on the white side of town, I help you out on the white side of town. If you happen to be one of those white dudes that happens to look like Kevin Nash and you see a bunch of bikers in a fight, don't go over there. That's like if you happen to see a bunch of people wearing red and a bunch of people wearing blue shooting at each other, and you happen to have a blue shirt on, go the opposite direction where nobody can see you. You know what I'm saying? Just a word of advice. Because people plan for keeps. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, further away, other downed motorcycles and riders could be seen along a 4-block stretch of Lamar Street, the witness stated. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How does all of this go down? How do you get on top of somebody and beat their brains out literally with a bike helmet? Now, mind you, no gunshot, no nothing. This took a while, just getting bust all upside the head with a bike helmet and literally no intervention from law enforcement. Now, you know, this is in Colorado where Elijah McClain just happened to walk down the street with a ski mask on and somebody called the cops on him. Nobody called the cops on all of these big Kevin Nash sized white dudes beating the brakes off each other. Very interesting. Maybe somebody needs to go to safety training. Or maybe people need to admit some things. One of the two. You know what I'm saying? The witnesses prefer to remain anonymous out of fear of retribution from the members of the motorcycle gang. So now I want you guys to pay very close attention. The witnesses are more scared of the motorcycle gangs than they are of law enforcement, or they probably know that some of law enforcement is part of the motorcycle gangs. Because that's a thing. How many people ever watched that TV show called Sons of Anarchy? If you guys ever seen Sons of Anarchy, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, give me a thumbs down. Why do I say that? Well, because if you guys ever watched Sons of Anarchy, who always made it so that they got away with everything? You guys remember? There was one piece of the puzzle that was very important for them to always get away with everything. Yeah. Charming PD. Charming PD always helped. The sheriff actually is what they called him. You know what I'm saying? McPherson was hospitalized in critical condition after the incident. He had a traumatic brain injury and several broken bones. In addition to the head strikes, he had been run over by a motorcycle. An anonymous source stated that McPherson has partially recovered since the attack and has even resumed his musical career locally, but with difficulty. CBS News Colorado tried contacting McPherson, but was unsuccessful. He probably doesn't want to be bothered out of fear of retaliation. Which is interesting because let me ask you guys this question. Don't we always get criticized about no snitching? And then you got those grandstanders who always go around and say, I don't know why people be practicing no snitching. I don't know why people be practicing no snitching. It's only us that don't snitch. It's only us that don't snitch. As we're literally reading a story about an issue that took place several years ago that just now got brought to trial because of people, quote unquote, not snitching in retaliation to a powerful gang retaliation. So let me ask you guys this question. Why do you guys think that people say that kind of stuff? See, we got to get to the bottom of that too, because there's a lot of that going on around these parts. A lot of that going on YouTube. And shout out to you, Trill Dog. I appreciate you, bro. Why is that? I think it's because people are allowed to get away with it. I think people should stop being allowed to get away with it. I think people are allowed to get away with too much. So now here it says William Kelly Henderson, a ranking Hell's Angel member, according to the police, died during the shooting. Henderson, an Arvada resident, lived about a mile from Jake's Roadhouse. The night of the incident, Arvada Police Department responded to the scene. It was soon joined by resources from the Colorado Bureau of Investigation and U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Eventually, investigators identified 10 suspects, all members of the Mongols and Hells Angels motorcycle gangs. They were all arrested in the same day in January of 2022 in Colorado, Utah, California, and Florida. I don't know if you guys know about the relationship between the Mongols and the Hells Angels, but that's basically like motorcycle level. That's like motorcycle equivalent Bloods Crip beef. You know what I'm saying? Referencing Sons of Anarchy again, the Hells Angels, that's who the Sons of Anarchy is based on, and the Mayans is who the Mongols are based on. Just to give you a little context. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jerry Bedford. What's good with it, bro? 9 of them were prosecuted on felony charges. An Arvada PD press release announcing the sentencing of at least of the last defendant called the Mongols and Hells Angels 2 of the largest and most violent outlaw motorcycle gangs in the world. Now that's interesting, right? Because out of all of the news agencies that talk about gangs, you never really hear any of them being mentioned on Fox News or in the New York Post. Why is that? You want to know something that's interesting about the Hells Angels and something that's interesting about the Mongols? You're not allowed to be black and be a member of either of those organizations. You think that might be why they don't get covered too much on TV? You think that might be why Brandon Tatum or Greg Foreman never talks about them? Shout out to Tania. What's good with it, Tania? Just these are just questions, right? These are the people that claim that they're quote unquote just reporting the news, but seem to miss a lot. This was a case of pure evil, stated Arvada PD chief Ed Brady in the press release, and our community will not tolerate it. Let me tell you something. These communities have been tolerating motorcycle gangs, 1%ers, you know what I'm saying, to be specific, for decades, ever since the Vietnam War, when they all first originated. You know what I'm saying? I am incredibly proud of our entire department's efforts and perseverance to seek justice and assistance from several professional law enforcement agencies. Previous reporting from police and media indicated that the incident started at Jake's Roadhouse. That was not the case, however, according to its owner, Doug Jacobson. The witness who was there that night said the same. The injured guy just happened to fall off of his bike in front of Jake's. Okay. So there you go. These are all those people. You know what I'm saying? So see this guy right here. He's got the 1%er thing tattooed on his neck. Okay. So that's that. Now, you probably won't hear about that in the news, even though, you know, in the news, they like to talk about woke stuff. That's not very woke. They may as well be. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. They may as well be.